Martin. All right. What's going on, YouTube land? Welcome to Raise Hail, Praise Dale. I am Voodoo.
I'm JT Dallas.
We get to do this one final time with a race to look forward to.
At least for a while.
Next week, obviously, we'll cover the championship race, but we won't have a race to give you a schedule for following weekend. It's going to be weird. We're going to figure out a way to make this show still entertaining for you.
Right.
If you notice graphics today, because if you're watching this right now with us live, or you watch it in the morning when it's posted on YouTube, tomorrow is go out and vote day. Not telling you what person to vote for or who to vote for or whatever. Just go out and vote for whoever you think is your best candidate. Sure to get that done tomorrow. But for today's episode, we get to talk about the very perfect and uncontroversial Martinsville race.
I'm not happy about it at all. I'm very salty. Very salty.
Then we'll look forward to the Phoenix race. A little bit of news in between those two. So without further ado,
the Phoenix race I am looking forward to. But as far as the Martinsville race, I'll save my comments for later, but I'm very unhappy.
With that being said, let's go ahead and roll that intro and get into it so we can see what he's got to say about it. I know we've had that intro for a while, but I still love it.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely pretty dang sweet. Alrighty then, guys. Welcome to Raise Hail, Praise Dale. Like we said earlier, this one? Yeah. This dude right here is Voodoo. Yep. I'm JT Dallas, and if you've never been part of the show before, you're coming in a little late in the season, but that's okay. We do this every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We talk about the race that just happened and the race coming up, or in this case, this is the last time this season that we're going to do that. We got some plans for the off season, so you'll have to stick around and see how that goes. And if you are new here, go ahead and type into the chat, and we will be more than happy to have a conversation with you guys. The only thing we ask is please keep it PG, because we are trying to just, be like a family-friendly place where, even younger kids that like NASCAR can come and talk about what they think. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into our post-race breakdown.
That's the intro. Hey, double intro, baby. Let's do it. Why not? I even got the little cheat sheet of like hotkeys over here on the side of me, and I still pressed the wrong one.
Oh, that's funny.
Insane. Let's try this again.
Yeah. All right. So welcome to the race break. Welcome to the post-race breakdown. I'm sorry, guys. I haven't been able to get a full night's sleep in like 3 days because of the storms. So I'm sorry
Excuses.
if I'm running on. I know. Anyway, if you guys have not been here, this is where we talk about the race that just happened this past weekend. We'll break down any penalties from whenever. Talk about what happened as far as who raced, where they raced, whatever, ARCA all the way up through Cup, and we'll discuss. Okay, good job. Go do what you're doing. Sorry, my daughter was talking to me. Anyway, this is where we discuss what all happened, and this week we have a doozy. If you guys seen the thumbnail, there was obviously some polarization going on. But before we get to all of that, let's talk a little bit about Homestead. And you might be thinking, JT, Homestead was 2 weeks ago. Why are we talking about Homestead? Well, that's because Mr. Connor Jones got suspended from Martinsville for intentionally wrecking Matt Mills.
It's good to see him go back home from the hospital, though.
Yeah. He was in the hospital for what, 3 days? 2 days?
Yeah, 3 days, 2 nights.
Yeah. So it's a good thing to see him come out of the hospital. I hope everything's doing good. He'll be back in a car at some point, so hopefully. But you want to take this next one?
So also in the same series there, Lane Riggs crew chief Dylan Capello was suspended for Martinsville as well, and the Riggs team was docked 10 points. And the reason why, they did not have all of their ballast secured inside of their ballast container. So for Martinsville, Johnny Rotten, which is the Front Row Motorsports performance director, was the fill-in crew chief for Lane Riggs this weekend.
What an epic name. Hey, can we just take a minute to appreciate Johnny Rotten?
And it's only one T though. Like,
yeah, but I mean, it
be
doesn't
better if it
matter.
had two.
It would be better, but I'm just saying, what an epic name. Like, what's your name? Oh, I'm Johnny Rotten.
Rotten to the core.
Anyway, that about does it for the penalties from Homestead. So we can go ahead and talk about the Zip Buy Now Pay Later 200. Say that 5 times fast, which is the Craftsman Truck Series. Oh my gosh, my nose. And they did race at Martinsville this past weekend. The purse was a easy $672,417. If they can put that in my bank account, I'd be okay with it. I'll go ahead and let you take the poll and stuff like that.
All right. Of course, my cough kicks in right when you say that. All right. So, poll for trucks. Number 19 of Christian Ekes, soon to be Xfinity driver. And then starting on the front row with him was the 98 of Ty Majeski. Obviously, we're in the playoffs. Well, we're almost to the championship race now, but nobody failed to qualify because it's just the full-time drivers that are showing up there now. So, to the rear, we had quite a few for unapproved adjustments. The 15 of Tanner Gray, the 18 of Tyler Ankrum, Clayton Green in the 22, and the 90 of Justin Carroll.
Yes, sir. And this was a Christian Ekes show because not only did he take stage 1, but he also took stage 2. And he also won the race, followed by Ben Rhodes in the 99, Chase Purdy in the 77, Taylor Gray in the 17, and Nick Sanchez in the 2.
Yeah. And then rounding out your top 10 there, starting off with Mr. Lane Riggs in the 38, in 6th. Another future Xfinity driver in Corey Heim in the 11. The 18 of Tyler Ankrum in 8th. The 9 of Grant Imfinger in 9th place. Number Macharuski there. And then rounding out your top 10 was the 52 of Stuart Friesen. No tech issues, nobody to research and development.
Yes, sir.
Up next will be the National Debt Relief 250, the Xfinity race, not at Homestead, but at Martinsville. We do keep notes. Like, it's not an exact verbiage of what we're talking about during the race, but it kind of keeps us on track. And apparently I went to the wrong track. So,
yes, sir.
The purse for the Xfinity race was just under 1.5 million, sitting at $1,441,088.
Ooh, love that money.
Yeah, go ahead and send it my way. I'll take very good care of it.
Yes, sir. And then we had Parker Retzlaff, who took the poll. And our podcast favorite, Fast Pasta, right behind him. That's Anthony
We're
Alvarado.
talking about this stuff, and I ain't even got it up on the screen.
We're just chilling out talking.
There's your truck line. We already passed that, so look it up, Buttercup.
I love how Voodoo dedicates a whole lot of time making these slides and then forgets most of them.
Right.
And while we're on that subject, as you can see by Anthony Alfredo, there's that little weird looking car. That is part of our line of driver foods, which we got to come up with a better name for that. But we have fast pasta, which is literally a dude racing a car that's made of pasta. And of course, that's Anthony Alfredo. But not only do we have fast pasta, we also have. Come on, focus.
It may or may not be on another slide too.
Yeah, so I mean, there's probably a better picture on the other slide. We got the cucumber cowboy on our side. Ugh. And if you're wondering why we have those, that's because we have merch. The link is in the description below, but you can check those out. You can get shirts with them on there and cups. Yeah, I bought the water bottle with the cucumber cowboy and the sticker because he was the first one that we made. I need to get the fast pasta one, and then I think we're gonna be working on a Danny D burrito, right? Or Matty D burrito.
Matty D burrito, yeah. I haven't found a picture I like yet.
De Benedetto, yeah. So if you guys have any suggestions for our next food driver, and the only thing we ask is it be based on a actual driver.
We need to get one for Chastain and just be a racing watermelon.
Yeah, that one's kind of self-given though. We talked about making one for Johnson that was just a goat instead of food.
Yeah.
Also, guys,
we got a few we can do.
Yeah, if you're new here, we're both originally Jimmy Johnson fans. Now we kind of differ, which I'll get into here in just a minute after we get out of the Xfinity, and you will hear my thoughts on what happened on a certain driver. Oh, I was so mad. So I didn't get to watch the race, right? Because I was super busy. And I heard what happened. Oh, I was so mad. But anyway, we got starting with the first 5 of our top 10. We got Eric Almirola winning the race in his number 20 Joe Gibbs car. Sammy Smith in second in the number 8. Chandler Smith in the 81 coming in third. Cole Custer in the 00 in fourth. And Justin Allgaier in fifth in his 7 car. I don't know why I had to
guess on that.
I don't know why I have to look at that.
Many times we mentioned his name this season.
I know. That's like saying, what number was Cole Custer again? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Rounding out your top 10, Mr. Sheldon Creed in the 18, Mr. Fast Pasta in the number 5, coming in 7th, 48 of Parker Kligerman in 8th, 27 of Jeb Burden in 9th, and the 91 of Myatt Snyder coming in 10th.
I think that's the first time we've heard his name this season. So
yeah, I was confused. I thought it was a mistype at first, but nope. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on y'all guys' top 10 finish. Moving on to the Xfinity 500. And no, this is not the Xfinity Cup. This is the NASCAR Cup. So, of course, you got Martin Truex got the pole. And Chase Elliott was right behind him, surprisingly. I say that only because he hasn't been doing so good this season. I mean, I think he's got a win, I think. But,
yeah.
Compared to last season, he hasn't been doing
definitely a downfall season, yeah.
Yeah.
Not a downfall, but a worse season.
Yeah. We had a few to the rear for unapproved adjustments. That would be the 2 of Austin Cindric. 11 of Cucumber Cowboy Denny Hamlin. And, the podcast favorite, number 51 of Corey LaJoy. Formerly the 7. Yeah, formerly the 7th.
Like you don't even pay attention to what's going on around here.
Oh, trust me, the only number that I pay attention to him is the number that we will reveal a little bit later. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, so stage 1 went to that of Mr. Chase Elliott. And hey, look who doesn't have a goose egg on RHPD Motorsports anymore. Mr. Brad Keselowski got him a stage win.
It only took till the second to last race.
Hey, I'm fine with that. We have no goose eggs on our RHPD Motorsports now.
Hey, I'm okay with that one. That mean, you know what this means, though, don't you? It means we got to really come up with some more drivers for next season. We go out to talk about it, and
That'd be something we'll do during the off season for sure.
oh yeah,
build our before roster. Even the duels at Daytona take place.
Oh yeah, same thing with our way too early playoff predictions, because we did that before Daytona as well. I think we did that the week of.
We did that the week before Daytona.
Yeah, it was the week in between Daytona and the Clash. That's right. So that one might be that one might stick in that position.
Yeah. But anywho's, after that celebration, coming in first was Mr. Ryan Blaney, securing himself a spot in the Final Four. And actually, that marks the 100th win for Team Penske in the Cup Series.
That one's pretty cool, but also Blaney's a loser and doesn't need to be in the playoffs. But hey, well, at least he earned his position.
Yeah, he did. Sure did. Looked pretty good at it, too. Coming in close to secure his spot was Chase Elliott, but he failed to meet the requirements to move on to the next round, as is third place of Kyle Larson. Kind of sucks for our RHPD Motorsports team, but 2 out of 4 drivers isn't bad to make it in.
I do want to point out, hang on a minute. I do want to point out that we have 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we have 3 drivers in the top 10.
Yeah, but only 2 drivers in the championship 4.
I mean, we're doing better than most teams.
Yeah, doing better than all teams, actually.
Exactly. Then again, we did have a 6-month head.
You got to keep revealing that portion now. Come on, man. 4th place came Austin Cindric, and then Cucumber Cowboy in 5th. If you can see his little Cucumber Cowboy on the slide there too.
All right, so going in 6th is Willie B.
Here's the controversial 3.
Yeah, followed by Austin Dillon and Ross Chastain, who, in my opinion, because I said I didn't watch the race. I did go back and watch this part. I think that those 3 should be DQ'd. And I will, in all fairness, I will even say Chris Bell should be DQ'd. But if they're going to be fair, they should have been fair. That's all I'm going to say. Because there was no one getting around the 3 and the 1 so they could pass Byron. Even though they were lapped. I mean, it's almost like Rick Hendrick, called over to RCR and Trackhouse was like, listen, I will give you X amount of dollars if you just make sure nobody touches it. I mean, that's kind of what I felt.
As fast as the 1 caught up to those guys, he could have easily passed them.
Exactly. Hang on, I have got to take this.
All right. As he mentioned, the 3 and 7th, that's Austin Dillon, Ross Chastain in the 1 and 8th, are Bad Brad Keselowski in the 6th and 9th, and rounding out your top 10 would be another championship contender, and Joey Logano in the 22. No tech issues, nobody to research and development, although they did strip down hey Braden, biggest cheating scandal in NASCAR history. I don't know about the biggest one, but it's definitely one.
Well, not the biggest one. The biggest one has got to be Kyle Petty.
Yeah.
Or not Kyle Petty, I'm sorry. Crap. It's right there. Michael Waltrip. That's the one I'm thinking of.
Definitely different guys. What about the guy with the monkey?
He wasn't cheating. He was just living.
Well, he lifted up the little thing inside to help get airflow.
Well, that's
Anyways.
like Richard. Well, the reason I said the Kyle Petty is because the guy that built Petty, the guy that built Petty's cars, both the Petty's, Richard, or probably all three, honestly, let's be honest. He would put ball bearings in the frame of the car, and then there was a little door right where the car would be jacked up. Huh? Anyway, there was a little door right where you'd put the jack that they would, when they were going down, they would release it and it would throw all the ball bearings out, so it'd be like 300 pounds lighter. And that's per the guy that built the cars.
Yeah.
So, not
like
the
I was
biggest
mentioning, tech was good. Nobody research and development, but Bubba Wallace's car did get stripped down. So they could find out if anything was wrong with that car, and if they find nothing wrong with it, then potentially you could see something coming down on that team there.
Oh no, I hope they find nothing wrong with it, because the way that all that happened was super sketchy. It was like they didn't want Chris Bell to make it into the playoffs. Even if Chastain would have passed him, I would have been at least a little bit happier. But since he didn't, I mean, it just felt like the script for the playoffs decided to not go as planned, and NASCAR's like, no, you got to fix it. I don't know.
Well,
It kind of hit me like I don't, you know what I mean? I really don't want to watch.
Well, if you think about it, if the 3-1 didn't do what they did, they would have passed Willie B, and then Chris Bell wouldn't have had to pass up Bubba Wallace like that anyway. Because Byron would have dropped back easily like 3-4 positions because there was a line of cars waiting to pass him.
Yeah, it was like they just all stopped because, thank you, you dumb dog. My dog just got back in from outside where it's like pouring rain because he had to use the bathroom, and he shook
Right on top of you, huh?
Yep, all over me. Now I smell like wet dog. It's great. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. It just, everything happened. A lot more things happened for me to call it a coincidence, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like
it was definitely multiple people manipulating the outcome.
Byron, and I mean, I don't know. It makes me really hate Hendrick, and that's coming from like a Hendrick fan from a long time ago. You know what I mean? I used to love Hendrick.
I hate to say it, but if they would have kept Bell in, we would have had no Hendrick cars in the Final Four, and that would have been a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and I think that's why, Rick Hendrick was like, listen, I don't care how much money it takes, he's getting in there. Because, I mean, that's the way I feel. I feel like he paid off NASCAR, he paid off RCR, he paid off Trackhouse, everybody that had anything to do with it, he was just digging his pocket to make sure it happened. And I mean, let's be honest, Mr. H is no one to sneeze at when it comes to NASCAR. He's kind of the one that's been there since, I'm not even going to say since the beginning, but I mean, he's a titan for sure.
Come to think about it, it might have been a Chevy thing. Because you got Logano and Blaney, both Fords. Reddick's a Toyota. Bell's another Toyota. They would have had no Chevys in there.
And that's another thing. I don't think NASCAR should allow the Camaros next year. I mean, I know they get a 3-year extension with the option to 1-year extension, but man, isn't the point of a stock car race to be, kind of, well, you look at them, nothing about those cars are stock. So I don't even understand how they still call it stock car racing. But you get what I'm saying? Like, make them run like the Cruise or something that they make today. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm frustrated about this race particularly because, I mean, of course it's my driver that didn't make it, and that's not really what I'm upset about. I've kind of been upset even if Bubba Wallace was in the position that Chris Bell did. And anybody that's ever set foot in a simulator can tell you the walls at Martinsville, especially where he freaking ran it up, will suck you in. So, and I'm not saying that he didn't purposefully try to pull a Chastain after the rule was made, but I am saying they have to look at maybe he just got sucked into the wall, and I don't know. It feels like a big Hendrick, oh, I just want Hendrick.
There's a big old crap show going on. Put it PG words.
Yeah, like I said, I was not very happy, and it seems like a lot of people are not very happy. You know what I mean? Like even Hendrick fans are like, "What the heck was that?"
Another thing I noticed, I forget who posted it, but there was something about people complaining about the playoff system all over the place, and like one of the NASCAR officials, or was it NASCAR officials, or was it Denny Hamlin? I forget which one said it, but they said that all the people that were complaining about the playoffs were just bots.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know about that one, because I really don't care.
Last time I checked, I'm not a bot, but
yeah, I really don't care about this. I mean, let's be honest. NASCAR was a lot cooler when you didn't have charter systems, and it wasn't about what round did you make it to. It was about how many points you had at the end of the season. I understand having the playoffs versus the normal season, but okay. But at the same time, I can't fan it. No. Fan it. Sorry, my dog's trying to get out now. Anyway, I, I don't know. It becomes so boring to the point where, like, I understand what their thought was. They're like, oh well, this guy, he's got enough points to win the championship halfway through the playoffs. So what's the point of even, I get that point. But at the same time, when you're just gonna manipulate other teams and drivers to get a certain one in, like you blatantly did in Martinsville, what's the point of even having a playoff system anyway? I don't know.
I get it. I'm on board with you.
This race just left a really bad taste in my mouth. Like, to the point where I'm like, I hope next season's better, but like, I don't know, it's just getting old, you know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna blatantly do that and expect the fans not to notice, what else are you gonna do in the future? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just NASCAR dropped the ball on this one. That's I guess what I'm gonna say. NASCAR dropped the ball. They did something they shouldn't have, and they got caught. I mean, but when you've got Ross Chastain flying up on him and then all of a sudden slamming on his brakes just to put behind him.
Yep. I agree. But apparently everybody from JGR went straight to the NASCAR hauler after the race, and they were told that they can't appeal it. So
yeah, which is bull. They should be able to appeal it.
I don't think NASCAR would change anything even if they did.
This is why, like, I have a way to fix this. They should have a whole separate entity that's not bound by NASCAR and not bound by a certain team, that they review things. And if it, it's like kind of like a checks and balances system, if that makes sense, where if NASCAR says something, but the teams disagree on it, and you get enough teams to disagree on it, then they should be able to revoke. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that's my spiel. That's why I'm upset. I'm sorry.
Sorry, I got all caught up in that. I could have changed it to where it was just us on the screen instead. Still looking at the results.
No, you're good. We do have some notable entries though. Let's see here. We got Kaz Gralla in the 15, starting at 33rd and finished up in 27th. SVG started in 29th and finished in 12th.
That's his highest finish on an oval in the Cup Series, by the way.
What is?
12th. His highest
Oh.
oval finish.
And then of course you got Josh Bilicki in the number 66, who started 35th and finished 37th due to brake issue on lap 131.
That seemed to be the common theme going into tonight.
Well, you understand, you know why they are having brake issues, don't you?
Because they were, well, for one, the tire rubber was building up like crazy.
Well, that and
you would probably say, short track racing.
Nice. All right, moving forward to our rookies.
Yes, sir.
Where's my button for that? Hold on. Hey, you found it. So, Josh Berry started 11th and went back 5 spots to 16th. And we'd already mentioned Kaz Gralla started 33rd, finished in 27th. Then he had old Zane Smith in the 71, started in 36th and moved up quite a few spots to 21st. And then Carson Hocevar in the 77, started in 27th and finished in 25th.
Yes, sir. So who are you giving it to this week?
I would say this week, there's not really anybody that stood out all that much. If I had to give it to somebody, I think I'd throw it to Zane.
Really? Why not Josh Berry? He qualified higher and then he finished higher.
Yeah, but he only moved up. Well, he went backwards. He didn't even move up.
Yeah, but I mean, like, he started in 11th. That's like right outside the top 10. I mean, I would give it to Josh Berry.
Well, I would give you but it's okay. You can give it to Josh Berry. He can get the weekly rookie of the week. He don't get rookie of the year though. Sorry.
No, he ain't getting rookie of the year. I think Hocevar's got it locked down for rookie of the year. Because
Ain't no thinking about it.
Sitting in 21st with a total of 667 points. Josh Berry is behind him 6 positions in 27th with a total of 566 points. And as you can see on the screen, that's 101 behind Hocevar.
Yep. 29th, you got Zane Smith in 71, 504 points, 163 points back at Hocevar. Then Mr. Part-Timer, Kaz Gralla, all the way back in 35th. Running that 15 machine, he got himself over the 200 mark, sitting at 203, 464 points back. You want to read that next part?
Yeah, I'll read it. I'm just thinking, you know how funny it'd be if NASCAR's like, oh, Kaz Gralla is the rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you know how mad the other 3 would be? Anyway, so being 101 points ahead of his closest competitor, Josh Berry, Carson Hocevar has officially clinched the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series Rookie of the Year. Not bad for he races for Front Row, right?
What's that?
What team does he? Is it Front Row or Spire?
Fire.
I always get those 2 mixed up for no reason.
Well, he's the only driver that is currently on Spire that will still be on Spire next season. But there is a Front Row driver that's currently Front Row that will be with Spire next season. So
Haley, right?
No, McDowell.
No. Yeah.
Pete's.
Oh, I'm out of it.
But Haley came from Rick Ware.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm getting with it, I promise.
Late in the season, man. Should know their stuff.
Anyway, are you ready to move on to RHPD Motorsports?
Yeah, sure, why not? Not a bad week overall, but Tyler Reddick gets the talking to this week.
Yeah, but we can't talk to him too hard because he's in the Final 4.
Yeah,
And
but
I mean,
I guess it's not completely his fault, but still.
So for those of you guys that don't know and are kind of new here, for our 25 sub special, we decided to make a fantasy team. So if we were going to pick drivers from the current lineup and build a race team, we ended up picking 4 cars. And our numbers, of course, there's the 62, 63, 64, and 65. And they're RHPD Motorsports. The reason we did this is after next week, we will tally up our points for our teams and see where we are sitting. Currently, we are sitting pretty dang good, considering we have 2 drivers in the final 4. We will for sure be doing another lineup next year. It just kind of adds another layer of, picking drivers to kind of follow. But starting off in our 62 is Ryan Blaney, who of course won this race and won himself into the round of 4. So he definitely is not getting a talk to.
Nah, I think he did all right this week.
Yeah,
This
Braden.
week.
Yeah, Hocevar did make Jeff Burton mad. But we did get the best picture out of this year's NASCAR from Jeff Burton.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tyler Reddick in the 63, which is our fantasy car, unfortunately got way back in 34th.
That's because of a brake issue up there on lap 458, so he almost made it.
Yeah, that sucks.
He was struggling for most of the race, though.
And then, go ahead.
Moving on to Mr. Kyle Larson, who winningest driver this season, not in the final 4.
He probably would have been if he would have actually made the Coke 600.
Yeah, I mean, he tried. He started in 9th and finished up in 3rd.
Never mind. I don't even know why I'm saying that. He wouldn't have even got the points.
Yeah, because he didn't start the race.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that because who was it? David Reagan was in his car.
I forget who it was that started for him.
Anyway.
Was it Allgaier?
No, I don't think it was Justin. I want to say it was like David Reagan or somebody like that.
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, he
Look
wouldn't
at
have
our
got
paint
the
scheme
regardless.
for the season video, and it'll show who it was.
Right. But anyway,
Yep.
moving on to
It's
our
the bad Brad Keselowski.
yes, sir.
Number 65 started in 18th and got himself a top 10 and a stage win. Finished
That's
in 9th
right.
place.
Yes, sir. We can move on to some standings if you want to.
Fine want.
All right. So Ryan Blaney is currently leading the pack with 5,000 points. Tyler Reddick is behind him in 3rd. I don't really. I'm going to say this for like the round of 4, which I know it really doesn't matter because round of 4 is just one race anyway. But I don't think Tyler Reddick should be 3rd compared to Blaney. I think it should be the other way around. I mean, honestly, like in the round of 8, if you win, my thoughts are like in my mind, if I'm thinking of like the round of 8, right? I would put Logano in first since he won first, so he locked himself in. And then Reddick, since he locked himself in. And then Blaney. And then Byron. You know what I mean? Like,
I knew it, Braden. Was Justin Allgaier.
okay.
See?
Well,
I'm right on
not
something.
so bright. But anyway.
I don't know the order that they really picked it to go in because it's not like in number order. It's not. I think they just kind of threw them up there.
It might be alphabetical.
I don't know. Because all 4 drivers that are in the final 4 all have 5,000 points. So technically, they're all tied for first.
Then Byron would be first, yeah.
Well, no. Byron would have been second because he'd be Y.
What do you mean BY?
Byron,
like
Byron. If they were
Never
going by
mind.
last name.
they might have. That might be what. No, because then Logano would be before Reddick. I don't know. Maybe they went by the number of points they had at the end of this race.
Maybe so. But technically, all 4 drivers that are in the championship 4 are tied for first. So
Yeah. But anyway, look at that number 65 with no zeros on the board.
yeah, it was nice to add that one on there.
Right?
Mm-mm-mm.
I mean, it kind of looks crappy right under the 6 and 12 of.
Right. What looks
Kyle
crappy
Larson.
is that 6 and 12 is down there in 6th place instead of up top.
See, that's one of the things that I was like, man, this is why I kind of hate the playoff system because, I mean, this dude's got 6 wins and 12 stage wins. He should be top dog, and no.
Happens when you have a bad round.
I guess it just, I don't know. It doesn't seem very fair to Kyle Larson. I mean, that's just my thoughts on that one.
Well, Ryan Blaney already won a race this season, so didn't get to take him off the list. But the list, everybody got to move up a notch. That is our winless streak. And, you want to go with your favorite part here, man?
I sure do. Speaking of winless streaks, we have NASCAR's most winningless driver, our podcast favorite Corey LaJoy with 271 starts and not a single win, not even a stage win to this man's name. Yet somehow he has made it all the way up to the Cup Series with as much talent as Kyle Larson has in his not even big toe, his pinky toe. This man has made it all the way up. So he must be one heck of a bull crapper. That's all I gotta say. Like, he must be able to talk his way out of a wet paper bag.
Do so. So I know you like that part, but I'm pretty sure you like this next part too. That's our playoff prediction updates.
I do like this part. Braden, to answer your question before we move on, I personally like the points playoff. Kind of like what they did in like the early 2000s, where it didn't matter. I like that you had your regular season driver, and then you have your playoff points driver, that champion. So like X amount of drivers, in this case 16, make it to the playoffs. I would be okay if they kept the 16, but instead of doing the round of 16, round of 12, round of 8, round of 4, if they would just run X amount of races, and by the end of it, whoever had the most points accumulated wins the
Talking about like
championship.
a chase format.
Exactly. Yeah, like chase for the cup. That's my favorite format. Not this. And I mean, I'm going to say this. A lot of people don't like the stages, but I kind of like the stages and I understand what they're there for. But a lot of older people that watch NASCAR think that it should just be running constantly for 4.5 hours. I mean, I get why stage breaks are there. And I also understand why they, require the cars to do certain things is to make it more competitive. I think the NASCAR would be a lot better if, it incorporated these things, but also only did like a chase instead of rounds. What are your thoughts as you're taking a drink?
Right.
Sorry, I didn't mean
Thanks.
to catch you.
I think it would be hard for the sport to jump back to the chase after they ditched it. Like, I think it was a better system for sure, but the new fans that you have pulling in now are used to the current playoff format. So if you jump back to that, then there were a bunch of original fans that didn't like the chase. Then you're gonna have new fans that didn't like the chase. I feel like the chase would get a lot more
But
flack
yet,
than the first time it
you
came
also
around.
you also have the same problem when you jumped to this format. I mean, you had the fans that liked the chase that seemed like it was more fair in terms of, driver championships versus, the fans that were just coming in that were like, "No, this thing's crappy." You know what I mean? I don't really like the I don't even really like the like I don't even know what to call this kind of format. Like the round format, I guess would be. I mean, even if they were doing like the round format and they just implemented the points a little bit more and not I guess my thing is I don't really like the you win and you're in on the
I
rounds.
was just
That's
about to comment on that. Like, what if they did the rounds still? Like, you
yeah,
got your
that's kind of where I
16
was
people
going with it.
in,
Like even if they did the rounds, just as long as they took the you win and you're in out.
but then like the round of 16, when it moved on to the round of 12, just the bottom 4 people in points were gone.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean that's kind of similar to it's like the best of both worlds in my opinion. Because you still have the like miniature stage steps or like brackets, if that makes sense. That's the way I think of it is in like brackets. So like the round of 16, you got 16 drivers in that bracket that moves on to the what I mean?
Uh,
If you had that mixed with the chase, so instead of, just you win and you're in versus the point system, I think that you'd have a lot better racing. Because I mean, let's be honest, if you're in the round of 16 and you win, you're not going to try near as hard to get to the round of 12. Like say you're in the first race of the playoffs, right? And you win that race. Well, now you're locked into the next round, so you really don't have to care because the points are going to reset anyway. So even if you won 3 of these races out of the 4, you only really get credited with I mean, you'll get credited with them all, but it only matters that you win one. Does that
well, for
make
the
sense?
playoff points, it would help out the
Yeah,
next
yeah.
round. But one
Yeah,
thing,
but not really cuz all the points reset.
yeah, but your playoff points are added to it.
Eh,
So you'd
I don't
have
know.
three
That's the part.
races, 3 race wins
That's
worth
the
of
part that
playoff
I'm
points.
like, you might as well just go by points if that's what you're gonna do. You
What
know
they're
what I mean?
doing
Like,
now. But as far as getting into the playoffs, though, I don't think the win and you're in needs to be in place there either.
no,
Take your top 16 drivers
that's yeah,
in
I
points.
agree on
That
that
is.
because it's arbitrary who wins a race versus who's running better the entire season.
Yeah, because you had some
I,
people that were performing better than Harrison
well, I
Burton
mean,
and
look at Martin Truex.
Austin Cindric, and
Yeah, I mean, if you took like Suarez and those ones that just squeaked out a win, right? So, like you were saying, Cindric and Suarez and all, though, let's be honest, those positions would have opened up where even Truex would probably have been in the playoffs if they went by points. I see
what's the
what you're
prize
saying.
money format?
The prize money format. What is that?
I don't know if I've heard of that one. If they're giving me money though, I'm all for it.
I'm down for that one if they're going to give me money. But if it's whoever pays the most money, Hendrick's always going to be the champion. I hate to tell you.
Yeah. While we're waiting for that, we are stuck with our current playoffs. So let's go to our updates of our predictions on that. So to start off, on the preseason picks, these are our drivers. I should have removed the chat from the bottom. Kind of blocks the bottom ones there.
Oh,
But as you can see, we both picked 16 drivers.
I had a couple differences.
Yeah, just a few drivers different there. But our preseason picks, moving on to the round of 16, we were tied at 11 picks apiece. Some slightly different drivers that didn't make it for both of us. Like Gregson was really the only driver different for me. Nemechek and Gregson were our 2 different drivers there.
Because I had Bush. No, we both had Busher. Who else did I have? I had
Moving on to the round of 12, you went up by one. We had one more driver make it through.
Yo.
You had 10 out of 12, or 10 out of 11 drivers that we had left make it. I only had 9 out of 11 make it. But that's okay, because the next round, to the round of 8, we dropped back down to 8 apiece. We tied it back up. And then obviously it's all the same drivers now. So we'll forever be tied on this one.
Yeah.
Moving on, championship 4, same 4 drivers. La-di-da. So whoever wins, we'll both still be tied there. So that's pretty much a wash. Our preseason picks are a wash, even though we had a few different drivers than each other. Kind of interesting. Round of 16 picks. So these are the people that we picked to move on to the round of 12 that actually made the round of 16.
Braden, just to reiterate what Braden was saying, pretty much the prize money for the races that they won was the number of points that they. So, like, say the prize money was like $1 million for first place, you got 1 million points. You know, $600,000 for first place, you got 600,000 points. So on and so on. So they basically just tallied it up by who won the season by who won the most money.
Gotcha.
I've never heard of that.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I maybe if it was every race, but then you just might as well go to points per whatever. But I hope Blaney doesn't win. I hope Reddick wins because he's the only one that doesn't have a championship. So I think it'd be cool for him to get his.
It would be hilarious for Reddick to win.
I was about to say that.
Going on.
I don't think NASCAR is going to allow it, but I think it'd be hilarious for Reddick to win, considering 23XI's ongoing legal battles with NASCAR.
I love how you keep calling it 23XI like you don't know Roman numerals.
Well, that's what I've always called it. 23XI.
I don't know if that's right or if it's 2311, but whatever.
I think it's kind of like you use it how you want it. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody knows who I'm talking about when I say 23XI versus and what we're talking about when we say 2311. Anyway,
back to our playoff prediction updates. So these are the drivers that we picked to move on to the round of 12 that actually made it into the round of 16. And first round there, we had the same 2 drivers not make it to the round of 12.
Yep.
That'd be Keselowski and Mr. Truex Jr.
Yes, sir.
And then moving on to the round of 8, we were still tied at 8 out of 8 picks.
But Byron cheated his way into the playoffs, so he doesn't deserve it this year. Maybe next year when he actually deserves it.
Yeah, be a nice big old asterisk next to it.
Yep.
Obviously here we got all the same drivers again, so we'll be forever tied on this one. Same 4 means the same champion will be there. Keep us tied. These are the drivers that we selected to go to the round of 8 that actually made it into the round of 12, and unfortunately, this is not a tie situation. Going into the round of 8, he had 7 out of 8. I had 6 out of 8, so he was up by 1. And didn't change. Next one, I only got 3. He's got 4. So
you and me both, Braden. At least until next season, because I'm not even going to say it was specifically his fault. I think it was just Hendrick wanting a driver in there, and he was the only one that was really available to make it. So I'm not going to say that I'm a Byron hater, but I am going to say that Hendrick is definitely on my list of teams that I really don't care to see win anymore.
on this screen here, the only way that you can stay ahead is if Logano wins. Otherwise, we'll go back to a tie.
That's okay, because even if we go back to a tie, I'm still 2 ahead of you.
Yeah, well, these are the people we selected to go to championship 4.
I'm salty. hardcore salty.
You jinxed it. Look, you picked them to go.
I know I did.
You got 2 people going. I got nobody. Hell, rough round. So you win that one
Yeah, the
automatically.
sad part is though, I picked the 3 Bs to make it, and only 2 of them made it. It's kind of bull.
Yeah, well, can't win them all. So
I sure am trying.
yeah,
I was hoping we'd make it the 3rd row or the 3rd year in a row in the final 4 instead of Hendrick screwing us out of it. Just
all right. So the true question: who you got to win the championship?
realistically, it's probably going to be either Blaney or Logano. Realistically, who I'd like to see win it is Reddick.
I got a feeling it would be between Blaney and Reddick. I don't know if Logano or Byron's gonna quite pull it off, but I got a feeling Blaney's gonna pull it off. I think it's Blaney's.
I could see Blaney. I could see Blaney, but I would love to see Reddick.
Yeah. So what's your pick for trying to tie us up here?
I'm gonna double down on Reddick.
You're gonna go Reddick. I'm gonna go Blaney. That way we don't have the same driver.
Okay. I mean, even if you win, I still win in the long run because I mean.
Shut up. Nobody asked you. All right. You got Reddick. I got Blaney. We'll see what happens next week. Moving on. Hit our trackside trends. So first little update we got from NASCAR. Not really from NASCAR, but from Saudi Arabia. They have released an update on their track construction at Qiddiya. They had a poster that was displayed that showed that they were eyeing NASCAR to make an appearance at the track, and NASCAR has since declined to comment on having a future race there.
Yeah, I hate to do this, but I have got to go into work, so I got to bounce up out of here.
Gotcha.
Enjoy being on call. Sorry, guys.
Gotcha. I'll try and finish it out. So.
Yeah, sorry.
Hey, real world stuff. All right, so let me turn off the Discord video for you there. That way you don't see it all duplicated and stuff. We'll try and finish this off with them. But as we mentioned, Saudi Arabia's got a new track going in Qiddiya, and they're eyeing NASCAR to make an appearance there, but NASCAR has declined on if they are going to make it there or not. Shall see possibility of NASCAR going to Saudi Arabia. That'd be interesting. Wouldn't be the furthest they've gone. They've gone to Japan before, but we shall see. A little bit of bitter news. Irwindale Speedway announces that its final race will be on December 21st, 2024. And that will be the Arkham Menard Series West. Will host a special non-points I can't even talk no more now that he's gone. Arkham Menard Series West will host a special non-points exhibition event. That's a tongue twister. Holy smoke. Yeah. Saudi Arabia will be kind of far to go, and I don't know NASCAR's fan base out there. That'd be kind of a questionable call. I mean, we'll see how Mexico City does next season. That's not far at all, but we shall see. Moving on from that, charter updates. Here's the fun stuff. I know we were mentioning it earlier as we were talking, but 2311 and Front Row Motorsports had their motion for expedited discovery denied. That was to get fast track document access to finances and other documents before that preliminary injunction that was held today. Yes, there is. There is an elevated track portion. I don't know where they got that idea from, but you know, it is what it is. Maybe F1 could go run there. Preliminary injunction hearing was today at 2 p.m. Eastern for 2311 and Front Row Motorsports request to sign the charter agreement. Whatever decision is made can be appealed to the U.S. Court of Appeals, but there was no ruling given out today. The judge on the case does say that he expects to have one out by Friday. Reason why 2311 and Front Row Motorsports are trying to get this situation figured out. The fact that they could possibly lose drivers and sponsors who have outs in their deals that require the teams to have a charter. So if they aren't a charter team, then Tyler Reddick could leave. You could have some sponsors leave. And that would be tough sledding for them guys. That would not be good at all. So hopefully before Friday we'll hear something on that. Moving on to team changes. This season in the trucks, Hettinger Racing has purchased Brett Holmes Racing. As we mentioned last week, Brett Holmes shut down effective immediately. But that means Hettinger Racing gets the 32 trucks points, plus the actual trucks and equipment and all that stuff from Brett Holmes Racing. Then, as you saw this weekend, Brett Moffitt was in the number 4. He'll also be in the number 4 next week. Finish off the season for them. Y'all see on that. No worries, Braden. Have a good night, sir. Thank you for jumping in, hanging out for a little bit. You have a good evening. Moving on to next season, 2025 Xfinity Series. Brennan Poole will return to Alpha Prime Racing's number 44 for next season. Good stuff. Wellen will continue to be a partnership anchor or an anchor partner for RCR and the number 2 of Jesse Love in 2025. So that's awesome as well. That's a pretty big sponsor to keep around. Moving on to the Cup Series for next season. So Booty Barker will move to a new role within 2311 following the end of the 2024 season. Charles Danicki, currently the crew chief of the number 19 truck, will take over following next week's season finale. New crew chief there for 2311. RFK. This is not confirmed, but Ryan Preece participated in a wet weather tire test at Homestead in an RFK car. Brad Moran, the NASCAR Cup Series managing director, may have slipped up on a podcast and stated that the 60 is Preece's ride for next season. I mentioned that's not been confirmed, but may have been a Chris Bell type situation to announce where Preece is going for next season. Another rumor that they have going on is Legacy Motor Club and John Hunter Nemechek may be parting ways. That number 42 car next season. Could see potentially either Riley Erbst or Corey Heim jumping in that car, if that is the case. Then Wood Brothers finally got the crew chief figured out for next season. Miles Stanley, who is a veteran race engineer, will be the crew chief for Josh Berry and the 21 team for 2025. Good stuff. Moving right along. Without our other host, since he got called into work, which was a possibility for tonight, but that's what it is. We're going to finish out everything with you guys here. We're going to jump over to our race day horizon. All right, so your schedules for Phoenix. Let's go ahead and get over to the right screen for that. We actually get some interesting stuff this week. Let me turn off that Discord video again. So Thursday we get some action. Not that you get to watch it anywhere, other than in your imagination, I guess. Thursday starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, you got truck practice, and then an hour later you got your ARCA West practice and qualifying. Did not see any broadcast or streaming information for either of those, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Moving on to Friday, 1:30 in the afternoon, you got your Desert Diamond Casino West Valley 100. Is your ARCA West race. It's 100 laps, and you can watch that on Flow Racing. Not be televised, just be on that streaming service there. But we do have some TV action finally at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. You got your truck qualifying on FS2. An hour later, you got your Xfinity practice on USA, and then an hour after that, at 6:05 p.m., you got your Cup practice, which is also on USA. Over here talking and not moving slides along so y'all can see what the heck I'm talking about. 8 o'clock p.m. on Friday evening is your truck race. On FS1, 45 laps for stage 1 and stage 2, and 60 laps for the final stage there. 150 laps of awesomeness for the championship there. Then moving on to Saturday, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Xfinity qualifying on USA. A little over an hour later at 5:05 p.m., you got your Cup qualifying also on USA. Your Xfinity pre-race show starts at 7 p.m. on the CW. Half an hour later, you got your Xfinity Championship race, obviously on the CW. Stage 1 and Stage 2, 45 laps, and the final stage is 110 laps. That's 200 laps to determine your Xfinity Series champion. And then on Sunday, I don't have his Discord sounds to go, but we will do it. All of this will be on NBC. So 2 o'clock p.m. start your Cup pre-race coverage, and an hour later, got an extended pre-race show for this one since it's a championship race. So at 3 p.m. Eastern, you got your Cup championship race. Stage 1 is 60 laps. Stage 2 is 125 laps. And final stage is 127 laps for a total of 312 laps. We got a literal handful of notable entries. The 15 of Kaz Growler. So he will be doing the final race for that team. The 16, we have somebody we haven't seen in a while, Derek Kraus. JJ Yaley in the 44 is making a return. Chad Fincham in the 66 will be making a return. And then the 84 of old Jimmy Johnson back on track. Pretty cool. So we do have a couple of new sponsors and a handful of schemes to show you guys. We'll go through those now. First off, we got Kyle Busch in his 3 car. Finally get to see that this season for the final race of the season. Then Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in the 47. Sorry. Will drive a Fries/Silk car. Quite interesting. Was not a reveal for either of those two quite yet. Not that I was able to pick up on, at least. Next few, we actually have some schemes that we'll show you. First off will be Mr. Justin Haley in the Parody Week by Gamebridge car. Nice little, I guess you can call that navy blue base with some baby blue accents going on there. Not too bad looking of a car. I would say last week's Gamebridge car was better though. Now this next car is actually pretty nice. That'd be Noah Gregson in the number 10. Nitro Circus car. It's red, white, and blue. You know it's Nitro Circus when you see it situation. Potentially, probably the best car going into this weekend would be this one here, Mr. Bubba Wallace. Columbia Sportswear, but it's a Star Wars base. He chose to go to the dark side. You can see the red lines and little Star Wars looking stuff on there. Looks pretty cool. Now, on the post, they had some red lights here down at the bottom. Obviously, you can't have during, but I think that helped out. Make it look a little better. Sorry, I usually have somebody to bounce stuff off of. I apologize if this is a little stale for you guys, but doing the best I can here. Moving on to Chad Fincham. We showed you guys this last week, but figured since we had the graphic, we'll bring it back up for you. That 2-1 nicotine pouches car. Last but not least, Mr. Jimmy Johnson in his contest-winning Carvana car. Little desert view going on. Sunset going into a night sky there. I like it. I hope they get Lionel to actually make that scheme. That'd be nice. So picks to win upcoming race, as we mentioned before, not necessarily would be the winner. I'm picking Ryan Blaney to win the race and the championship. Dally picked Braden for the championship. And usually you got the championship 4 running up in the top 5 for most of the race anyway. We'll see what happens there. It is the final race of the season, but you can get into Fantasy League if you want to. See if you can make more points on us this weekend than most other seasons. NASCAR.com. Race Hail Praisedale Podcast is the name of the league. That's HALE, and make sure it has podcast on the end of it, or it is not ours. There is a password to get into it. It's just all lowercase RHPD 2024. Right, so jumping ahead, we are infamous Flick Scheme Spotlights segment. Right. This segment here is actually sponsored by Happy Hour Racing. This website here is happyhourracing.com. Go ahead and check out that website for any of your NASCAR or Formula One merch, diecast, stuff like that. Dally has ordered from him already and got it. I think he said within a week he ordered it. He got a nice little Jimmy Johnson shirt. Got like the 7 trophies on there that he's won. Pretty nifty. If you would like to purchase something, make sure you use code RHPD and we get a little cut of your sale to go straight back into the podcast. Keep this thing chugging along for you. This week I had the classic scheme, so we'll start off with that one. And since Mr. Martin Truex Jr. is retiring, I decided to go with his first paint scheme ever in the Cup Series. This will be back all the way in 2004, 2 years before he started full time, actually. That'd be the Bass Pro Shops MBNA 500 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Not exactly super awesome debut. He started in 33rd and finished way back in 37th because of an engine issue on lap 259 of 325. But if you look at this car, you can tell it's DEI just by the looks of it. Beautiful red base with the Bass Pro Shops logo on the hood there. That black one and your little black DEI stripes on the side there. It is beautiful. Moving forward to Martinsville's paint scheme. This is the scheme that Dally picked for this weekend. That'd be Mr. Justin Haley in the Gamebridge Sport car. It's a black base with some green Jeff Gordon looking flames going on down the sides and on the roof of it, actually. Definitely is a pretty car. Did better than Truex team that I just mentioned ago. He started 30th, finished in 29th. Not the best day for him, but not the worst either. With that being said, that's all we got to cover for this week. We definitely appreciate you hanging out. Right now, I want to say our analytics are showing about 85% of you guys are not subscribed. So join those 77 other people that have subscribed and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon for us. Get us up to 100. We do have a 50 subscriber episode planned for you. We just haven't been able to get the time to record it for you. We definitely are going to get it done for you. With that being said, that's all we got. So hope you guys enjoyed the show. Sorry that he had to dip out early to go into work. That's just part of us having real-time jobs outside of getting this podcast together for you guys. But with that said, we're crossing the finish line of another Raise Hail Praisedale episode. Until next time, may your tracks be clear and your victories many. Good night, race fans.